All right. Probably. Let's hear how this sounds. Give it ye good old-fashioned test. It's a little buzzy, but whatever. Um, I need a new, like, audio setup. So until I get that, it's probably gonna be buzzy. Um, all right. So I'm gonna share this in some places, and when I do, actually, I can just do this now. Let's do that, and then it's saying I'm live, but it just like turned black for a second. I'm not exactly sure why that is. Hello. All right, cool. Jim Jesus is here. If you want to ask questions or talk about shit, feel free. Hello, Valor and Nev. I was told that I should make this stream title microphone, so I have made microphone the title of this stream, and I'm holding it in the thumbnail. I'm also going to be eating a sandwich because I just worked out, so yeah, that. I've got 7 viewers already. I'm not exactly sure why. This is my informal stream. This is where I do my weekly conversation with y'all. Feel free to leave things that you want to talk about. And I'm also going to be going over the comments that have been left on my videos this week. So, this is people's chance to, like, really get feedback. I want this channel to be, like, a collaborative sort of community experience. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that just, like, ignores their comments and or audience. And I want to take an active role in actively responding to things, because that's how you grow. That's how you improve. If you're new here, there's stuff in the description that you could do. Email, newsletter, shit like that, all that sort of thing. And it's been sort of a week already, but I'll get into that in a bit, because I've got something I'm gonna get off my chest for y'all before I get into any of this. But I'm gonna share this on Tweltware first. Microphone, Vlogstream 24. I'm live right now, chatting with y'all. All right, and then I'll put in my support links because I need rent. So I'm gonna put in my support links in this Twitter thread here. But yeah, like, I have my microphone in the thumbnail, but it's degloved. It's got its clothing off in there. It's a nude. It's a tasteful nude. Tastes less though, honestly, to be honest, because it's fucking my face being all fucking strange and shit. So I'm going to share this in my Discord server, and then I will be ready to start talking to y'all. Live here. Krubis. There we go. All right, so hope y'all had a good week. Time to get started. All right, so take off the ankle weights because I forgot to do that. So this week I got banned from a Discord server, and I think it's funny the reason that I did. I'm not gonna say who ran it, and I'm not gonna say what the situation entailed. I'm just gonna talk about what it was that happened. Hello, Jonathan. Happy you're here. So I joined an anarchist Unity server. I joined it because it was in the bio of somebody who was in Jim Jesus' server. And this was after Jim Jesus' server had gotten done insulting me and calling me a series of slurs for bringing up the fact that a pedo had been sort of guarded by the libertarian community, and that was an example of how the libertarian community needs to clean up its act in order to actually get some traction. And, you know, I'm fine with leaving the past in the past in terms of, like, animosity, but I'm not going to not talk about it, because it's a learnable experience, and I devoted all that time to it so that people could learn from it. So, I brought all that up, and I was dogpiled, because obviously I was. But then I went into this Unity server, because this person said that they were trans, or, you know, I think they might be intersex, if I remember correctly now. But basically, they had issue with the same things I did, and I thought, hey, this is cool. I might have some unity here. I did not. And I'm not going to talk about who it was, but let's just say one of the first things that happened there was somebody in there called me a fake anarchist who just randomly accuses people of grooming because I went after the pedophile in question. And this person is friends with that pedophile. This person is friends with them, and they took sharp offense to all the stuff that I was saying, despite apparently having been exposed to the same materials that proved it. So, I got my microphone here. I'm on the mic, talking about the fact that Riley liked 5-year-olds and wanted to convert libertarian communities into a circle more accepting of Riley's wanting to fuck 5-year-olds. And that's kind of a problem, you know? And so this person just mindlessly believed Riley and kept on insulting me and coming after me. So I responded negatively, you know, especially since they did that same thing where they just accused me of crimes. And then they, you know, ignored the sort of testimony of somebody who said that they believed they were groomed by Riley. Because they used that person as an example of Riley's friends being there for Riley. So all of this stuff basically just bubbled back up to the surface again, because the libertarian community has a bad habit of sheltering this kind of person and keeping them away from criticism. Sort of like, you know, Ian Freeman and his talking on air about how the age of consent is bullshit and 13-year-olds could probably do it. You know, there's a problem here. It's a fucking problem. And I do not care what anybody thinks. Then, there was somebody else in the server who was posting in favor of Ukrainian government shit. And they were also trying to act like an ally to LGBTQ, etc. So I brought up on one of their LGBTQ posts that, yeah, I mean, if we're going to support LGBTQ, we definitely can't do that while also supporting the Azov battalion and the Ukrainian government. And they took severe offense to that, and did all of your standard Ukrainian apologism that you could possibly do. And so I went against that person and just barraged them with proof that, yeah, indeed, not only Azov, but Right Sector, C-14, and a bunch of others have been a problem for like a decade now. And that person didn't take too kindly to that either. But in general, I eventually sort of hammered it down, and I was told that since I didn't use the anti-fascist tag to get this person dogpiled, essentially, that I wasn't doing fifth. That's what this fucking server owner constantly referenced, is fifth. We need fifth. Well, no, we don't. Not if that's what that is. Not if it's fifth to dogpile people. Which I eventually was dogpiled multiple times. And the most recent example was after I had told another person who was one of the mods that maybe he shouldn't say 16-year-old tits are hot. After I told him that, in another part of the server, they fucking, they invited this person back because they left after the Riley conversation. They invited this person back. And this person started to be antagonistic about anarcho-primitivism. In a Unity server That should not be a thing. In a Unity server, anarchist Unity server, you should not have people defending Nazis. You should not have people softening fascism or pedophilia or anything like that. Anything that is a threat to a child's liberty, anything that is a threat to a minority, is a fucking problem in an anarchist Unity server. But I was defensive. And because I was defensive, a bunch of these anarchists in this anarchist Unity server jumped down my neck and acted as though me responding negatively to negative treatment was somehow evil. Fuck every single one of you that did that. Fuck every single one of you that was a part of that dog pile and who was involved in the decision-making process to have me removed. Because you are the reason anarchist Unity is going to have problems down the line. You are the reason the state will thrive. Because you are the reason anarchist Unity looks nothing more than a cult-ass circle jerk. You. Not me. You. So, go fuck yourself. I hope you lose everything, so you recognize what it is to claw your way up from the bottom, and maybe you'll recognize what it is to be there. At the bottom of the political compass, at 0% authoritarianism, where we don't tolerate this shit. Anyway, hi Eek. I'm yelling about a server. Now, I'm going to take a bite of this egg sandwich I made because I just got done with a workout. And I didn't mention any names. If y'all want to have a fucking debate about this, or a conversation, you know where the fuck to find me. When I say egg sandwich, I mean fucking egg sandwich. Motherfucker has 3 eggs, half an onion, a bunch of seasonings, and some half and half in it. All, of course, fried in lard, and this is Hawaiian bread. Very good. And it means that since I just got done with my workout, I can have the protein from this, and I don't need to buy expensive supplements. Either visions. I'm back when the world needed me least. I don't think so. Also, we are both psyched for the new Has-Been Hotel stuff. I'm very excited to see where that's going. I was a little bit nervous that was going away forever. That it was just gonna ironically fade into the ether. So, Valor says Jeremiah becomes Gordon Ramsay. He would probably actually like this. I don't think I used even too much oil for him, even though I usually do. Like, I like oil, and I've got bipolarism and metabolic conditions, and I refuse to get medicated, as you can probably tell. So basically, I put in a lot of oil because it's slower digesting energy, so it helps me sort of smooth transitions and shit. So I put in I eat at least a pound of lard a week, sometimes sometimes more. I breathed some of the crust just now, though. That wasn't good. All right, cool. Ether Vision's question: is the Institute right or wrong? The Institute. Okay, so I haven't seen the latest episode of Hell of a Boss, so I'm assuming you're talking about that. I will let you know the next time I stream. Next time I have one of these vlog streams, I will have a cohesive answer for you. Olive oil, I hope? No, lard. Oh, Fallout 4, okay. No, lard, I use lard, and I use lard because it's saturated fats, and it's got omega-3s, it's really high in omegas. It's also got a really high smoke point. So, but it leads to really even browning. I liked frying things in bacon grease. And I eventually just realized, why am I not cutting to the chase and just using lard? It's what I want from the bacon. I don't want the meat. The meat doesn't matter to me. I can get meat from other sources for cheaper than bacon. So I just started buying lard when I found out where I could get it. Fallout 4. I haven't played Fallout 4, so I couldn't tell you. Valor said, tonight we are having shepherd's pie and using Gordon Ramsay's recipe. Good stuff, good stuff. Hey, add some to your shepherd's pie at some point. you know, not necessarily tonight, but like at some point, add Italian sausage. You won't fucking regret it, like in the slightest. Um, because it's gonna give it like some meatiness and some earthiness because it's got both the sausage and the pig flavor. So you're gonna end up with this like really full-bodied flavor that you wouldn't normally get from a shepherd's pie. Um, fucking Eek says lard as in bacon fat. Yeah, yeah. I eat like at least a pound of that a week. Sometimes more, sometimes up to 2, depending on what I'm cooking. Hello, Julian. Eek says, yes, I save my bacon grease, so it's pork fat. Yum. Yeah, see, so the thing is that lard is just all of it rendered into the core components. So it's white. You know, it's like the white part of the bacon, only just the white part. And it's fucking excellent. Like if you want good food that's like browned properly, you don't need any other oil than that. You don't need butter, like for anything other than like cooking ingredients. You don't need olive oil ever again. You don't need fucking any vegetable oil. Because it's neutral flavor basically. It's fucking great. People need lard in their life. I am a lard evangelist. Also, Lard is a great industrial band led by the lead singer of Dead Kennedys, Jello Biafra. So if you want to listen to some insane music that I like, listen to Lard. I recommend, if you want to listen to Lard, I recommend Can God Fill Teeth. It's it's such a good fucking song. Valor says, "Okay, I hear sirens out." Yeah. Okay, so I live in like the sort of, it's a leyland, sort of a lapland between suburbia and urbia. Like I've got walking distance to basically every part of the city, and it's fucking great because I grew up in dirt road rural area. Dirt road rural. That's like a tongue twister thing. Um, and now I live in Spokane, and I live like relatively central, and it's fucking great. Like I can walk to anything I want to. There's so many things that I can do parkour off of. It's not the desert, so like I've got rivers within walking distance, fucking mountains within walking distance. It's excellent. But the things that aren't is that sometimes if I leave my window open so that it's a livable temperature in here, um, I get sirens from cop cars because there's 2 police stations nearby, and like 3 fire stations, and so I get like sirens from everything. Uh, there's another one, and there's a train, um, like a multi-track train system that just runs along the spine of Spokane, and it's very loud sometimes, and it cuts off traffic a lot. So there are things that I don't like about the place, you know, but it's relative. I could go on for a long time about the new City Line bus system. Honestly, I should just make a video about that because it's absolutely insane looking. Um, Dystopian garbage nightmare fuel. So I'll make a video on that. I'll make a video. Um, Julian says, "Have you read Marcus Aurelius' Meditations?" No. I've read parts of it, but I've never read the whole thing all at once. Eek says, "When I was a child, my parents would use lard to cook." Yeah, I recommend it, yo. And the stuff that I get is shelf stable. So you could store this. It's stored in the bulk food section, along with a bunch of other like prepper friendly stuff. So Valor. That sounds beautiful. It is, yeah, and it's like much more livable than where I was, like by a fucking damn sight, yo. Like, and it's still weird to me. My brain doesn't believe it, and it's been 4 years because I was stuck in the desert, and I thought I might be stuck there forever, and I called it dirt jail for that reason. Um, and now I walk outside, and like I can walk to just like green and orange and yellow trees, or run through the snow, or you know, spend some time down by a river, and it's fucking insane, yo. So that's why I spend a lot of time outside. Also because I've got unmedicated psychological issues and it helps me relax. Nature is medication, yo. Um, Eek says, as long as you can sleep okay, it all does not matter. Yeah, well, and that's the reason I have a box fan. Yeah, because if I didn't have the box fan, not only would my housemates wake me up, but every little fucking city noise would wake me up. Um, and yeah, it'd be a problem. I mean, it already is probably a problem. Probably sometimes the reason I'm waking up with night terrors in the middle of the night is because, like, my subconscious said, hey, that was fucking loud. You gotta wake up now. And so I'm waking up, like, halfway through, like, the deep sleep part. You know, not good. Anyway, Eek says, I've read parts of it too. Decent advice. Ethervision says, did Walter win or lose at the end of Breaking Bad? I guess spoilers. Plug your ears, y'all. I would say that he won his personal battle, um, but lost his long-term goals because his long-term goals were to see his family taken care of, and his family didn't even want his care. So, you know, it kind of comes out in the wash. Like from a grand perspective, I would say that he started exactly where he ended, and vice versa, because like he didn't get what he set out to get, you know, and that's the whole reason it's a cautionary tale. It's like Confucius quote, you know. If you embark on a journey of revenge, make sure you dig 2 graves or some shit like that. Um, that's my take. $30 Walmart box fan that's been running on full blast 24/7 for the past 4 years. No. The first year I used this little like sound box thing that was given to me by the homeowner. So, um, but this box fan I've had it for like 3 of the years. So basically, 2, 2.5, something like that. Whatever. E says, your stream is occasionally stalling. Damn you, YT throttling your content. I don't think that's YouTube. I think that's my internet provider. And I think that if I get my own place, which is on my goals list, if I get my own place, I will have a lot more, like a lot faster internet. Gotta get like more people like you who are actually willing to monthly financially support the content to make that happen though. So, Jonathan Picone said, went off-grid. Got a cabin out in Kentucky. Will never go back to the city life. Check out my most recent upload to check out what it looks like. Glad to see you're well. Yeah, well, and I can understand that. And I at some point when I can afford to, I hope to get a place of my own. And I'm planning on making like a full-on bunker from scratch. So that should give you an idea. So, Eek says, wow, blast from the past, Jonathan. And he also says move to Texas. Ironically, I've got somebody doing the opposite. He's going to come up here and we're going to start some anarchy collectives up here in Washington. Uncurl the papers on your pinboard. Oh, do you want to see what those say? Those are from a really old TikTok where I was explaining why alcohol is bad for you. I can do that. Honestly, I should start using this cork board to make more TikToks again. So, here are the papers. And this is the molecular structure for ethanol. And I included this so that people could tell that I knew what that was, but also because it makes interesting thing on paper. Now, the thing about ethanol is that it's a cortisol stimulant. And my screen is backward, yeah, I get that. But it makes you fat. It kills your gains, it fucks your immune system, and it makes you bald. It's also a testosterone killer. This is cortisol, sorry, not ethanol. Ethanol enables cortisol. And ethanol is this. This is the chemical structure for ethanol. So, ethanol increases your cortisol levels. It makes you fat with carbs, because it's basically just pure carbs. It reduces blood flow, it damages your organs, it lowers your sleep quality, it reduces testosterone, and it kills your gains. So that's what the problem with booze is. And I made a TikTok about that in order to encourage people to, get healthy. I also think it's funny that a long series of YouTubers are willing to have content from like self-motivation and fitspiration apps one moment, and then sell out and do Bright Sellers ads the next, so that they can sell you on, the opposite of what they were just encouraging. It's fucking pathetic. So I included that as well. Eek says, lots of good and cheap housing. Yeah, I mean, and I'm not opposed to that. I am opposed, however, to some of the government decisions and, like, the climate. And also, I'm, already up here and don't really have the money to move. I have the money, however, to contribute positively to, like, this rent situation. So we're going to be sharing a house until we can afford our own. But there's also no state income tax here, so that helps marginally, if you know what you're doing. Valor says, I'm cool. I'm moving to Texas and going to the countryside. The city parts of my current place scare me. I mean, that's understandable, but, like, look at me. I, I take the bad part of town with me wherever I go. I am the bad part of town. And then, like, I'm running around in the city with these shades on. So that should tell you everything right there. You see this guy running at you, you're not gonna fucking cause trouble. So I don't get trouble caused, strangely enough. Ether Visions, how many likes on this video for you to put a print of Saul Goodman on your pinboard next stream? I mean, if somebody wants to throw cash, I'll just do it. Like, Saul Goodman is a good character. I started watching Better Call Saul before Breaking Bad because the legal aspect of it interested me more than the drug dealing aspect of it. I mean, I like both shows, and I'm not saying like one is better than the other at this point because I've watched them both, and I'd say they're competitively good. But the Better Call Saul aspects, where it's all just like what goes on in the background of these sorts of enterprises, that was interesting. It was real fucking interesting. And the fact that he wasn't into like the violence end of it at all, that's real interesting. Eek said, I moved here on purpose because but if somebody wants to get me enough cash to, like, on Amazon or something, buy a Saul Goodman poster, I'll just put that up. So that should answer your question. Fucking Eek says, I moved here on purpose because when the grid goes down, I want to be in a place where it would be easier to survive. Warmer means better. It can for you, because you had a procedure to deal with your hypermetabolism. I moved to a place where, like, nature is gonna generally cool me better than anywhere else. Like, I can go for runs in the snow here. I can see my breath in October to June, and I would rather be here for that reason alone. Valor, I'm near San Antonio. Let me know. Julian says, what do you think about the crypto market? Enter the matrix glass. Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. I'm going to take another bite of this sandwich. I need to eat more of it before my gains slow. I like the idea of cryptocurrency. I like the philosophy of cryptocurrency. But the problem is that a lot of people who are in the crypto market fucking don't. It's like people who are in the liberty community, but they're not actually interested in liberty. It's a severe problem, And the fact is that a lot of people in the crypto market are killing cryptos. Like Elon Musk, fuck that piece of shit. And his pump and dump rug pulls with Doge. The whole idea of the crypto market being used for speculation rather than actual currency is a problem for people who use cryptos for crypto purposes and not for, like, speculative asset purposes. So I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the market, but the currencies can be useful for various things, and blockchains are great, especially if you want to skirt censorship. Like, y'all can follow me on Odyssey, where this video will be backed up permanently in case I said something that YouTube doesn't want me to, and bans my account. Valor says, I know self-defense anyway, lol. So why you worried about it? Why you moving to Texas when you could just defend yourself? Fuck 'em up. Get yourself a reputation. You know? Do it. Oh yeah, I already read that comment. I'm already down here. So, Eek says, this area is around 1,000 feet too. I wanted the altitude. Yeah, I want higher up. And I want fucking cold. I mean, I want 40 degrees as my home temperature. I prefer that. I prefer it colder. I prefer it as close to freezing as possible, if not below freezing. That's where I like to be. When I'm not spitting on the fucking floor. The Fed thing. Oh, Ether says, Walter. Yeah. The Fed thing is funny. I question some folks, but Jeremy is the least glowy person I know. Haha. I don't actually know what you mean about the Fed thing. Might not be seeing a comment you meant. No, I meant literally just print an image and put it up. See, the problem with that, though, is that my printer just does not want to work. And I've tried everything. Like, I've tried so many forums. I've tried looking up so many things. And it just doesn't want to work. If I can get it to work, I'll do that. But that's the lowest thing on my priorities right now. And it'll probably take an hour that I could be spending making rent and shit. John says, Patriot, let me know about survival when there is no grid, no AC in Texas. Yeah, it do be like that, though. Or when there's no heater when it starts to snow again, since it's snowing in Texas now. That was real fun for JD last year. I can survive in 120. I cannot easily survive in 30 or less. I can. I'm the guy in the house who, like, when it's snowing like this, I have my window open and fans blowing the air in. Like, I overheat so easily. Texas in advance passing laws with it being independent too. I have doubts that sandwich is just 3 eggs. It is just 3 eggs. 3 eggs, half an onion, and some half and a half. So it's like fluffier because of that, and I sort of formed it into a square that would fit into a single, like, into 2 pieces of bread. Looks like 6 to 8, haha. I mean, I also buy large eggs, so these are just large eggs on their own. I usually eat, like, this many eggs, like, prior to a workout and then after the workout as well. So, yeah, it's just to answer the "you're eating well" comment. In the sandwich, because of the way I bought the ingredients, is about 70 cents. That's the reason I'm able to. My cousin, Valor says, my cousin is in the infantry and is 6'4". While I'm 5'6", I'm going to try to take him down. I mean, you guys could spar with each other. That'd be a good way for you to get sharp. Jonathan says it's easier to get warm when it's cold than cold when it's warm. I.e. propane fireplace. Yeah, basically. Either Vision says it should be top priority, NGL. I mean, if somebody wants to throw me enough money that I can justify taking that hour, maybe. But I'm not going to just do it. And waste the time that I need to make rent. So. Each says you're damn nice on the price. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I don't waste supporter money. I generally eat on less than $5 a day. So, that should tell you something. Earth Nerd says, I'm gearing up for the cold. I'll be out in it a lot. So I gotta dress warm. Secondhand shopping is how I've done that so far. Good stuff. Yeah, circular economy. Eek says, yeah, I buy pork chops, $1 each, super cheap. I will have to inquire how you get those and where you get those, because I might be able to do that, and that would certainly be good. And I need a source of pork anyway. Valor says, I have to leave for a few minutes. Well, I will still be here. The stream is not going to cut off. I haven't even read a single comment yet. And it's been 35 minutes. So, I should tell you everything. Let me check everything over here and make sure. And I'm going to start reading comments soon. But yeah, for those of you new to my channel, this is what this is like. I do this once a week where I just have an informal sort of conversation with people and really hash out the issues. And it also lets me demonstrate that I actually know what I'm talking about because I'm saying it live and because I don't have a script or anything. So y'all can really challenge me on some ideas if you want. It's like it's a collaborative experience. I want people to feel like they're part of something when they talk to me, instead of just me being some weird cult of personality up here on a stage. I always hate that when people turn into that. Eek says, okay, I'll go there. I can survive in warm weather without spending any cash, not having propane or firewood to burn. I do not understand people's position that colder areas are better survival. I mean, it's my metabolism. I you know, I overproduce. You were concerned about this too. You wanted me to get a procedure, but I overproduce every hormone. And I like some of those hormones are the hormones responsible for metabolism, and some of the other ones are like testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. And I basically underproduce nothing and overproduce most things by a large margin. And so I'm warm. I run warm. It's a severe problem if I don't just get what I need in terms of general climate. So I generally try to do that, and I'm in a place where it's a lot easier to do that. Like I have my window open right now, and it's like 45 degrees in this room. So I'm pretty happy with that. Troll says, Discord equals those yeeted from Twitter. This is why the slanter. I don't know what you mean by the slanter. But, Eek says, sounds like me when my thyroid was overactive Graves' disease. I mean, it could be. I don't care, though. I'd rather, like, it's like that Def Leppard line, you know, it's better to burn out than fade away. I'm going to use what I have. I figure it's there for a reason. That is why the slant? I'm not sure what you mean, why the slant. From the Highlander? Good quote. Oh. I actually don't remember what I said a few seconds ago, so. It's better to burn out than fade away. I mean, I was quoting Def Leppard, but the Highlander is also very good. I have put the fucking theme song on loop on many an occasion. Also, my father and I would watch Highlander when I was young, so it brings back some of the few good memories of my childhood with him. Yes, the main enemy in that. Oh, yeah, okay. You know, I remember that now. We would watch the TV show. The movies we would watch, like, more occasionally. The one that was in that fake city in Washington that wasn't, like, it was trying to be Seattle, but it wasn't Seattle. Was to Jonathan's observation on Discord. Discord. Me. What's up, brother? Here, listen. I don't see his observation on Discord. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it's not telling me all the comments that have been posted. That'd be unfortunate. Not in many Discords anymore, not even Jeremiah's. Well, You're welcome to if you want. It's discussion for sure. And anyone here who wants in on that is also free to join. And I'm gonna reopen invites soon, during the day. It's still gonna be the process of like erasing the invites at the day's end though, because I am not gonna get rated, and I definitely piss off enough people that might be a problem. What happened in the TV show with Duncan MacLeod's younger friend that was a Highlander? Oh. You know, that's one thing I'm not going to spoil. I'm not going to spoil that on a stream here. And the reason is because it's got some interesting morals, and it's also rad as fuck, and people should watch the Highlander show. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to blue ball you there. People should watch the show. That's my stance. I might answer that at some other point, but you should watch it though, like front to back. It's good, and you get to see this not Seattle but Seattle. It's definitely just Seattle. Let me post a link at the request of Eek. Create invite. Copy. Paste. So, there that be. Now to check some comments, because I haven't even done that yet, and it's been 40 minutes. Oh. Okay, I gotta turn on a different chat here then. Yeah, I see. I didn't even have that set that way. P. What's the problem with Discord? Some of the people on there are super cringe and edge lord, but with a mix of gamers with down low porn addictions. Yeah, I can see that. Like the thing about Discord is that it's the fucking worst. And I don't use that phrase lightly. It's the fucking worst. Discord gives all of the people who have their cringe bullshit on other accounts the ability to actively control and force people to be just as cringe as they are. It's god awful. It's a way to essentially isolate opinion, to force a certain sort of viewpoint, and to prevent people from behaving a certain way. So it's a nice way for people to who normally have no power, you know, in the frame of like Discord, or sorry, in the frame of Facebook and Twitter and shit, to suddenly have all the power to be the kind of piece of shit that they are on those platforms, which isn't a problem if they're a free thinker. You know, it's not a problem if they actually give a shit, and if they're there for, you know, promote freedom. But if what they're there to do is be worse than those platforms, which most servers are, then there's no point in being there except to be part of somebody's clique. And then you just get ossification and siloing and fucking... It's terrible. It's terrible. And, you know, you can rename people who are below you in the server, which means that you can insult them just by changing their name. It's a great way to enforce groupthink if that's what you want. My server has different rules and a different philosophy where you're just, you know, you need to be logical. That's what you need to do. So if, you know, if there's a dispute and you can prove that the other person is employing fallacy, then that's much more valuable to me than, you know, fucking... It's much more valuable to me than I feel this way, or you made me uncomfortable. I don't care. Shit's gonna get a lot worse before it gets better. If you're not okay with being uncomfortable, you're in the wrong fucking arena here. So that's the way my server is. I try to make it a better experience for actual discussion than other places. and I open it to people who aren't anarchists, but who are interested. I'm very clear that it's a server run by an insane anarchist conspiracy theorist. If they're totally fine after that, then, you know, fucking they're welcome. Troll with a Purpose says, same as Twitter DM groups. Yeah, basically. Dude, there have been so many times that, like, there's been manifestly some shit being talked in another GM, and then I end up with a worse reputation later, even when I didn't do anything fucking wrong. It's many such cases. So many cases. Twitter GMs are cancer. Valor says he's back. Eek says, don't have the energy to bother with folks anymore. Building my tribe for when things collapse. People's core beliefs are what matter, or what's most valuable to me. Can I leave them alone with my child? Will they fight beside me? Yeah, much better questions than, you know, are you gonna call me tree self? Are you gonna embrace my fifth, like that fucking person at the beginning of the thing that I talked about? Kant says, first thing I hear when joining stream is about a server being run by crazy anarchist conspiracy theorist. Yeah, but you know that server, you know that place, you know that, like, I am that, but it's also actually a pretty reasonable place to talk if you can be logical. So, you've been in there for a while, so you know that for a fact. Also, it has a news tab, which you might appreciate, Eek. The news tab is under XE updates, and basically the news tab is a curated list of news sites of often conflicting opinion that will help people form a better sort of environment in the long run. Hello, Jonathan. Welcome to the server. I actually need to say my normal message for y'all. Welcome to the Evil Zone. Patriot, Eek, and... Oh, you gotta accept the rules, though, Jonathan. You click the little Sonic emoji button with the number next to it, and it lets you accept the rules, because that makes sure that your name is added to the list of people who did, and that if there's any confusion in the future, you know, people know that you did. And it's not just like, oh, he gave preferential treatment to somebody. So, yeah, so the news tab, and I'm going to expand it as well, but basically it's a live feed of regular updates for a variety of purposes. Mostly to keep people informed and hooked into some of the more, like, mainstream acceptable things that I read, because some of the stuff that I read is the kind of thing that if it was auto-posted to Discord would probably ban the server for, like, misinformation or whatever. So, Jonathan, I will wait for you to accept the terms there. Gotta click that hedgehog button. Anyway. Point is, yeah, all that. It's a relatively good place, I think. And also, if you accept the role in reaction roles of Acolyte, you can get updates whenever I post something. So it's sort of like a ping, like you were talking about, Eek. What's the Discord name? I mean, it's Axie Chamber. It's got a picture of Sonic as the icon there. So, you're already in it. Like, I see you, Jonathan. So. The fuck was what? Oh, I belched. So. Eek says China's going to move on to Taiwan soon. Did you see how Biden passed an EO that forced U.S. citizens to quit or give up their citizenship? Cutting off China from chips, forcing them to move on Taiwan? Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's not good. Valor says, yeah, that's okay. Eek says, yeah, I want to know when you go live. Need a reliable way to know. That's a good way to know, because it's going to send an update to your phone. he also says, yeah, I saw Jonathan in the entrance channel, haha. Yeah, I mean, it's in the portcullis channel where your rules are to accept. So if you want to get in, you gotta accept the rules. So all you gotta do is click that button in portcullis, and you will have accepted the rules. So with all that in mind, though, yeah, I will wait for you to do that. Do that. I'm going to start reading comments now. Also, I've got a few things blowing up on Twitter, I guess. What's everyone's stance on Russia's SMO in Ukraine? I'm not sure what you mean by SMO, so I'm going to look this up. Russia. Oh, okay. I mean, I oppose both, but I think that people underestimate Russia right now because they've got the arrogance of NATO backing it. I think I mean, it's certainly another distraction. It's certainly another way for the elites to ossify support. They've got another boogeyman. They used Russia when Trump was there, and they're using Russia now that Trump isn't there. And they used Russia in order to hire Nazis, in order to do Operation Cyclone, in order to do so many things. And so I just fucking believe that Russia is their boogeyman, and that they will perpetually use Russia, and therefore basically ossify Russia as an asset in the region for the global elite to justify constant war. That doesn't mean I'm on the side of Russia. I think Putin is a fascist piece of shit, and that you can't live in a palace and call yourself communist or for the people. But that doesn't make Ukraine any better, and NATO certainly isn't. So fuck everyone involved is my stance. Nice microphone. Yeah. yeah. I've got a very similar mic to JD. I think it's even the same microphone itself, and the brand is just different because it like rebranded to a different brand under the same company, because it cost relatively similar. But yeah, the special military operation, it's just the same thing as like a status of forces agreement with the U.S. It's like, let's have an unconstitutional thing that allows us to engage in these military actions. That's what we need, you know. But also, it's like I said, it was called a fucking Putin bot for saying the other day, you know, like this is a massive double standard. It's such a massive fucking double standard. And the fact is that like most people aren't even remotely willing to look at that double standard. You know? Like the US would absolutely go insane if the same things were done to them. If the same treatment was given to them. They would absolutely go fucking insane. You know, but I get called a fucking Putin bot for saying that, even though it's manifestly true. It's just true that the U.S. will go insane, and they already have once. It's like, it's not, you don't even need historical, like, current thing. You've got historical precedent. Like, I was called a Putin bot for saying that, yeah, this already happened in the Cold War. It's already happened. The U.S. was already guilty of doing the same exact thing that Russia's doing. Let's start a war over the fact that somebody has bombs near us and is practicing what amounts to brinksmanship. It's fucking atrocious. Like, the Cuban Missile Crisis was this. And I've been saying this basically since the start of this, that this is the new Cuban Missile Crisis, but in reverse. You know, the US and NATO gets to absolutely surround Russia with a bunch of fucking bombs and military equipment and shit, and and then play fucking coy when it's like, oh, we had no idea that would have the negative effect of starting a war. Waxing all indignant and shit. Go fuck yourselves, you know? You knew exactly what all this was. And putting nukes in Finland on the fucking border of Russia after the US got angry with Cuba for storing Russian shit with an entire body of water between the two, that's exactly just the double standard right there, condensed and laid bare. Eek said, I worked with a senior Russian analyst. He was the one that told me that there were sex ads on billboards for sex with girls as young as 11 in the Black Sea in Ukraine. Russia is cleaning up a mess. Biolabs in Ukraine too. Ukraine became the first became the sex tourism capital of Europe. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Also, they did a lot of cyber work for the U.S., not the least of which was a heavily compromised operation of, you know, coding the Amazon Ring doorbell cameras. And they were also a massive hub for U.S. like troop training, and troops would actively train their Nazis as well. You know, so it's like, you know, the U.S. couldn't have picked a more corrupt option as an ally, but they did because Ukraine is big enough that they can wave a paper tiger in Russia's face. That is if all this isn't just one massive soap opera. He says, no Nazis in Ukraine. Wink. Yeah, it'd be like that. I get so much shit for that. That's one of the reasons I got kicked out of that server, because they didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to talk about the fact that their guy there was fucking defending Ukraine constantly saying, oh, Russia this, Russia that. Ukraine is completely innocent, though. And so when I brought up the fact that, yeah, Ukraine's got a big Nazi problem, they fucking bailed. They said, I'm good. You know? It's fucking pathetic. And they wanted me to dogpile this guy too, instead of just going one-on-one. I can't just express my knowledge on a subject and fucking pwn this guy. I've got to tag everybody and get all of them on board. So, it was stupid. It was real fucking stupid. Eek says, been tracking Ukraine since before 2014. Disgusting shit. Western intel 100% behind the coup. Used gas in Odessa. Yeah, and also, like, the CIA directly admitted to it. And it's nothing new. Like, the CIA had a Nazi network, Nazi spy network in terms of the Galen organization. And NATO had the Bundeswehr early on, which was just ex-Wehrmacht officials. So, I mean, like, they've known it for so long that they were willing to work with the Nazis, and like American businesses doing business with Hitler, and skull and bones status American presidential candidates getting in because they were in enough that they were like supporting the Nazis actively during World War fucking II. Prescott Bush is a Nazi scumbag, and that's the reason that the Bush family has so much money, is because of Nazi money and his willingness to be ethically fucked. So yeah, real piece of shit energy coming off the whole operation. Louis says, Nazis, I hate those guys. Snakes, why'd it have to be snakes? Not exactly sure why you're referencing Indiana Jones, but it's funny. Anyway. Mr. Knight says, on Drain Plug, last week's Vlogstream, when it comes to the Russia-Ukrainian war, everyone is either a Russophobe or a Russian bot, depending on the talking point. Yeah, basically. And Eek says, 125,000 acres in Paraguay, Bush Jr. Yeah, basically. It was essentially a German career, a career that could only spring from the very roots of German history. Yeah, well, and now it's everywhere because everybody's like, "Hey, we can do that too." And like, oh, it's fucking hilarious that Jon Stewart still won't address the fact that he like handed a fucking gold medal to a Ukrainian Nazi battalion member who had a fucking Sonnenrad on his elbow. Uh, you know, but we're not allowed to bring this shit up. Eek says, "Do you think USA will stay as it is or break up?" I mean, it'll stay as it is either way. A breakup will just be a temporary shakeup, while the powers that shouldn't be exploit the chaos in order to expand the U.S. You know, hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Mexico and Canada joined the fray, and the U.S. used the excuse of them joining the fray as an excuse to annex some of their land in the next, coming land redistribution. Like Rothbard said, this is state capitalism, and the roots of property in this country is that, governments came in and fucking stole a bunch of shit and acted in barbaristic ways and then distributed the fruits of the fucking plunder to the masses as they saw fit. So the pedigree of the property is slavery, genocide, and a bunch of other nasty things, and I think that could just happen again, Fucking Manifest Destiny 2 Electric Boogaloo. He says, "I just like Indiana Jones, that's all." Yeah, it's a valuable thing to like. Now, my question is, do you also like Tomb Raider? Because I find it's an interesting question to ask people whether or not they like both. Some people only like one, and I think those people are scum, generally. Um, So if you like Tomb Raider, then you're cool with me. Uh, Eek says, "Senior analyst I know said they're seriously worried about a Red Dawn scenario. I believe him. I think the Empire is done over. The U.S. will split into pieces. Potentially. I mean, I know a lot of people are sick of their hegemony." Lewis said, "I feel bad. The Indians got all the land called the USA stolen from them." Yeah, I mean, and it was through a series of botched treaties too. So now that that's happened, people are still willing to trust these people. Why? Also, they were never independent. They always depended on foreign money anyway. Eek says Tomb Raider was an epic early game. Yeah, although I really like the new stuff because it's more stakes in it. Like, you can get seriously injured in that game, and it's very much more like, practical and pseudo realistic. I like the new ones a lot. I haven't played the latter two in the series though. I need to get to those. I need to get to Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider. I've never seen Tomb Raider. I recommend it, and I recommend playing the games if you get a chance. They're very good, and if you like Indiana Jones, you'll like these. Ego says Paul Pelosi and getting hammered name a better. Yeah, yeah. What a story, I won't say what I think of that story, but I'll just say that it's interesting that that this guy had the history he did, and was an ardent leftist supporter, and that suddenly Pelosi is super angry with him. I guess it would look better on his records to not be that persuasion. Maybe there's bigots in the Democrat Party who wouldn't like him if they found out. Maybe that's a problem that the Democrats need to solve. Just saying. Also, they should probably solve the problem where the Pelosi family is insider trading on the government that they're supposed to be using to regulate these people. That's fucking bullshit. It's evil. It's wrong. Nev, playing Runes of Magic right now while I listen. Also, I hope Nev checks out the Sonic franchise. I think you would like it from what you were saying about Star Wars, and it's also not Star Wars, so it's immediately better than Star Wars. I have to say that because it's funny. Anyway. Picone says, people say the World War II generation is the greatest. I think they're the greatest order followers. And the most spoiled. Like, baby boomers especially. Like, holy shit. You want to talk... I posted against fucking Social Security today, and I've got nothing but people, like, in my mentions, at least in response to the initial tweet, saying that I have somebody who's... Okay, I'm going to read this tweet. I'm going to read this tweet because you should fucking hear this tweet. It's hilarious. It's so fucking... So, my tweet was about how Obama is trending over, like, roasting Ron Johnson over Social Security because, oh no, these people walked uphill both angles, like, in the ice. They had ice. The ice froze their feet to the pavement every time they took a step, while they were being simultaneously burned alive by Vesuvian ash, so that they could get their Social Security. They worked for it. It's theirs. And, you know, really whipping up an like an obese frenzy over in this old people crowd, saying like, Social Security, my Social Security. And so I was like, let me be clear. Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. It's being funded because participation in the scheme is mandatory. Our work is paying their retirement. Ron Johnson sucks, but Barack bombed civilians. Like, that's the real shit. Barack bombed civilians, and he still gets a standing ovation from people who want people to be forced into a Ponzi scheme. Democrats! They're alternatives! Somehow. We can't find an actual different way they're different, but hey, you know, when they're bombing people, at least we know they're progressive nukes. At least we know they're progressive Predator drones. You know, doesn't that give you just the warm, fuzzy tinglies? You know, it's like Martin Luther King said, I have a dream that one day my kids can, you know, be judged by the the bombs being dropped by a Democrat instead of a Republican, that my kids can bomb minorities in foreign countries too, just like Republicans. That's a direct Martin Luther King Jr. quote right there. So this woman says, it's to pay your grandma's retirement, you freaking monster. Some kid'll pay yours. Jesus. I'm a monster. I'm a monster. But Obama drowned civilians. Obama is responsible for fucking civilian deaths. And I'm a monster for going against him and his Social Security appeal to emotion. Woo! Democrats, you're fucking awesome. Fucking Cat Alvarado. You did it. Good for you. She looks like a fucking soccer mom that got stuck in a fucking vacuum cleaner. Holy shit. Anyway, I'm gonna not talk about that too much right now because it's gonna make me a little bit too focused on it. Nev says, I like my MMORPGs. Well, hey, now's a great time for you to be a part of the Sonic franchise, because the new Sonic is going to be somewhat RPG-tastic. They're going to have a skill tree in it. Eek says, my father, he avoided the draft for Vietnam by having children. If he was not a coward, I would probably not exist. LOL. Yeah, that's good. I guess that doesn't make him a coward. Maybe he was smart, but I know he's a bad person in general and in other ways. Yeah, oftentimes people are. Was the let me be clear an Obama joke. I was hoping somebody would catch the reference. Jonathan says, there are more old boomers than our generation. This weird economy could be the last it could be the less populated younger generations paying for the retirements of boomers who blew the inheritance for future generations. Yeah. Lewis, and we've also got like a birth dearth. Like, anybody who's been watching my content for a while remembers the thing I talked about. Like, there are less people now than there need to be to fund the system. So, Louis Cypher says, remember the war gen told everyone coming up, if you work hard, you get a better life? Honestly, I've worked hard for the last 28 years at a job, and I'm more broke now than then. Yeah! That's the reason I'm so grateful when people are willing to financially support this content, because it's not easy out there. And so if people decide that not only is my content worth it, but it's worth it on a regular basis, you know, that it's worth like having that money not for them but for my content, it means a lot to me. So, yeah. Eek says, speaking of paying for retirement, children should support parents and all welfare. Yeah, and we should bring back family homes so that children are active there. And parents should peacefully parent so that kids don't think they're pieces of shit they want to leave. You know? Society should be fixed. It done be broken. Eek says, in Mexico, children support their parents. There is no social security bullshit. Yeah, basically. But yeah, so there's my social security thing, and it's doing relatively well. Like, I'm not mostly getting comments like that, but that one stands out because she looks like fucking so normie. She looks aggressively normie. Let me check more comments on YouTube. Also, I'm gonna see if Jonathan figured out the entry mechanism. Yeah, okay, so you're in now. Cool. Nothing. Where the evil happens. There you go. LOL, I'm listening to your stream, and this is in my server. He's not on YouTube, I don't think. Right now, heard something about Amazon Ring cameras. Could you imagine being dumb enough to buy one of those? Like Alexa is just a wiretap, but a Ring is a wiretap with a camera. Well, okay, so it's not only that either, because it's being transparent. In that it's like, we're going to give... They have this entire system called Neighbors. And it's literally just turning all these cameras into a neighborhood-wide security feed. So if any of your neighbors have security cameras, that is being sent to the cops. Your neighbors are helping the police surveil your fucking house. It's evil. It's despicable. I hate it. Fuck Amazon. Holy shit. Anyway, people are so unwilling to do just a little bit of work required to do free software and have shit actually be secure. And anyone actually trying to be secure is just a crazy conspiracy theorist. Fuck, my brother still mocks me for just, like, encrypting my hard drive with Lux. Yeah. Because it's fucking... They're cradle to grave indoctrination. Evil shit, yo. So, yeah. He also asks, what's evil about Sonic the Hedgehog? Well, see, that's the joke, is that I call it the evil zone because people are going to call me evil no matter what the fuck I do. Like, I could breathe and somebody would say I, like, violated their fucking, their rules. They, you know, check your privilege, you didn't breathe right. You know, or that sounds like a liberal breath to me. Fucking... He says, yeah, I just don't have a good YouTube account that can't be traced to my IRL right now, so I'll talk in Discord until I make a new gulag. Yeah. Beautiful spot, Jonathan envy. Jonathan is posting his spot. Good, yeah. I have trees like that here, too. But they're less tall, and more coniferous. I'll take some more pictures. I post a lot of pictures. So y'all, since you're in my server, will probably be able to see more of that. Because I post them to the server regularly. So, where are we? Eek says, thank the banksters, Lewis. The war, and Lewis says, the war gen and baby boomers were given their homes from their families. Us Gen X and Millennials and Z's got nothing. Yeah, and we're being mocked for it. Fuck Bloomberg, holy shit. I hate Bloomberg so much. He's like an octogenarian, like multiple tens of billionaire, and he looks down his nose at people on his fucking media empire site. Fucking garbage. I hate him so much. And he did that all after being a racist, fascist mayor of New York. You know, you can Xerox a description. Just throw him up against a wall. Fuck you. and telling us that nobody ever said this was going to be easy. Your stupid WEF endorsed talking points. Fascist garbage. Fuck Bloomberg. I don't even remember what started me. Right. So his rag, the WEF saying you will own nothing and be happy, you know, fucking asinine. And like Twitter constantly shoving these news articles down our throat in the trending section where they're like, "Oh yeah, you won't have a home. Your job is going to suck. Your life is going to suck. Deal with it or else." And accept our new fucking privacy-free currency, which we can control everything you do using that. Accept our surveillance dystopian super state. Prol. Lick our boot or accept the consequences. Eat shit, workers. That's what they're saying. It gets every hackle in me raised. Eek says, speaking of paying for retirement, children... Oh, yeah. So I already read that. The only thing I got from the war-gen grandparents that raised me, this is Lewis again, that raised me was PTSD, trauma, and dislocated bones from the horrible Nazi upbringing they gave me. Yeah, basically. Ego and its poem, long-haired, vulgar Alex Jones. Yeah, basically. And it's getting worse because, like, my voice is already competitively deep to how his was, like, when he turned 50, and I'm only fucking 30. So, like, when I'm Alex Jones's age, I'm gonna sound a lot more like Alex Jones than Alex Jones ever did, really. If you like isolate the way I sound right now, I already have all of his graveliness. I just sort of use a different register so it doesn't show up all the time. So, yeah. These fucking globalists. Louis Cypher, Lewis? I don't know how you pronounce that. Is it Lewis or Louis? I'll do either one. Whichever one you want. Lewis says, I just closed my Wells Fargo scam bank account last Thursday after 10 years. Eek, I'm with you, brah. Jonathan says, boomers kick started the divorce culture here. Young men are not getting married. A wife can be an agent of the state. Yeah. So it's Louis. Okay, all right. Eek says, yeah, marriage is a bad deal for men these days. Can be. Can be a bad deal for either. It kind of depends on the state you're in and the circumstances there are. Also, whether or not he wears a badge. It's a really bad deal for women if he's a cop. Eek says the courts are horribly biased against men even when the woman is a fucking monster. Can be, yeah. And I know your situation, they absolutely were. I don't understand that at all. Like, you have all the evidence on your side. Fuck those pieces of shit. So now to get to the next comment. Yeah, if you close your eyes and you just listen to my words here, it sounds like Alex Jones speaking into the mic. I could understand somebody just coming to that conclusion if I'm ever using this voice. I will eat your ass. Tired than putting chemicals in the water to turn the freaking frogs gay. Trash. How's that impression? Did I do it? Julian says, later, have a good night. Be well. Louis says, women turn into property if they're married to a cop. I've known some. Yeah, and the system is, like, heavily biased in favor of the cop no matter who they're beating up. No matter how unjust they're being. It's evil. I'm gonna eat more of this sandwich right now. It's an anti-globalist sandwich. It has animal products on it. And onions for testosterone. Anyway, got more comments on Fido. Our state says you're a good boy, Fido. Vlog 142. Cole Highway says, I never trusted those password lockers. They always rubbed me the wrong way. I get the appeal for it, especially nowadays, but there's nothing wrong with having your passwords on a notepad locked in a drawer. Or just a notepad in your computer. A notepad document that's encrypted. That's not hard. Then you could just have one password for that, and you could have access to all your passwords. Thumb in a heart. Breaking the flaw. I would never date a cop, but I've boinked several cop wives. do the Justin Bieber rant. I will do that in a moment. Props if anyone decides that because they think the impression is funny, that they want to throw some money at my PayPal. If you decide that you think anything I'm doing here is worth it, throw some money. I could use the rent this month. I'm trying to earn $500 by the end of this week, like by Friday, because that'll give me a year of phone service with my current provider, and it will also give me the money I need left over for rent. So anybody who wants to throw some can. Let me look up the Justin Bieber rant. Justin Bieber rant, Alex Jones text. All right. Alex Jones, it's our video. Fuck, I'm trying to find a text version. Fuck. Where? I need to find a text version. That's what I need to do. Justin Bieber. Our copy pasta. Okay, this will probably be it.
Look, when you realize how fake all it all is, the football, the basketball, the Lady Gaga, the Justin Bieber, who gives you these carbon tax messages? You tell your kids they gotta love Justin Bieber, and then Bieber says, hand in your guns, pass the Cybersecurity Act, and, the police say it's good. And then your children would turn into mindless vassals who, they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson, or looking up to Nikola Tesla, or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber! He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet! He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal, and when they got back there was only like 11 people alive of the 200 and something crew, and the entire ship was rotting down to the waterline. That's destiny, that's will, that's striving, that's being a trailblazer, an explorer, going into space, mathematics, quantum mechanics, the secrets of the universe. It's all there. Life is fiery with its beauty, its incredible detail. Tuning into it, they want to shatter your mind talking about Justin Bieber! It's pure evil! They're taking your intellect, your soul, and giving you Michael Jordan and Bieber!
How's that? Did I do it? I think I did it. And somebody can clip that if you want and post it to your channel. I accept challenges when they are provided. Louise, that's very great. And see, I sound like Alex Jones, but I'm from California. That should tell you everything you need to know. Like, Californian desert fucking made my mind this way. So. Mr. Knight says, I think I signed up for Parler on Tribal is Drivel. But when I went to delete the account, I couldn't find the option to. Yeah, I heard a lot of issues like that. Thumb and a heart. Valor Ashens says yes on US and NATO are surrounding Russia with nukes. Thumb and a heart. Mr. Knight on this US and NATO video. I don't understand why the US needs nukes so close to Russia when the UK has nukes. What the US could do is the UK as an anti-missile site that shoots down Russian nukes, or hacks them as they pass over, even if that sounds like some video game shit. No, it's not video game shit. They do that. There's a digital Iron Dome that they constantly discuss. Like, that's a real thing. That's not video game shit. I should make a video on that, actually, because that's, like, it's such proof that, like, there's a severe problem here, is that there's a digital Iron Dome, and they constantly build new Iron Domes in many places, and Ukraine literally wants to be a new Iron Dome. But if Russia builds an Iron Dome, then they're the bad guy. You know, just fucking fuck Putin. He's terrible exclusively. And if you disagree, you're probably a Putin shill. Louis says, I love the desert. I'm from New York. I don't. I have hypermetabolism and hyperhormonalism, and I'm good. You can have your heat. Like I'm in a tank top right now, and it's 40 degrees in this room. That should tell you everything. Eek says the people running the West want a nuclear war with Russia. Realize that, and then the rest of this makes sense. Yeah. Louis says nukes are bad. They're hazardous to our health. Eek says water is life. And Louis says Putin's worse than Hitler. Yeah. Well, I don't like Putin. Fuck Putin. Just to be absolutely clear. But the fact that Russia was willing to give fucking harbor to Snowden while Biden wouldn't pardon him for years, like Biden could pardon him at any fucking point. But he chose not to. You know, Biden could pardon Ross Ulbricht if he actually gave a shit about victimless crimes and, you know, the war on drugs. He doesn't give a shit. Otherwise, he would be putting his son in jail like he did so many other people's sons. On the same video, we've got somebody who just left bruh. I don't know who you are or what bruh means in this context, so I'm not going to react at all to that. And on the same video, this is the last comment available. I got a really long answer, so I'll be eating this real quick before doing that. He says it's the hair and the beard. It keeps you super warm. I mean, partially, but I'm also in a tank top and shorts right now. Like, I just got done with a workout. And I was working out outside in this stuff. Like, that should tell you quite a bit. So. Eek says Putin is standing up to the WEF, BISEC. I mean, maybe. Maybe. I think he's... See, that's the thing. I'm unwilling to simply accept any narrative, including the narrative that, you know, Russia is trying to sell. I think there's a possibility that this is all just one big stage production. And that they're getting their population control agenda by a war. And that they're also getting a bunch of censorship and surveillance controls because of the war. Like, that would make total sense, wouldn't it? That these world powers have a fake war that's a racket that boosts their military-industrial complex, helps them with surveillance and control everywhere, including at home. And all in the process, they reduce the population of the planet, which is something that they've been wanting to do for a while now, by a significant amount, just because they're all involved in a war. To me, that's much more likely than Putin is against the WEF. You can believe what you want. Like, I'm not controlling you, but that's my stance. Louis says, public service announcement. Bathing a beast. Hitler's hygiene details at 11. Not sure what you're saying. War helps the economy. Yes, it does. Yeah. Like, it's like Major General Smedley Butler said, you know, war is a racket. So, it's a long answer, but I felt it was worth explaining. You may have gotten Poland's request a bit off kilter. Deploying U.S. nuclear weapons systems, aircraft, and nuclear ordnance is not about NATO or the U.S. getting closer to Russia's borders. With over 5,000 warheads on each side, they appear at U.S. strategic bomber bases, ICBM sites spread out of tens of thousands of miles at specific NATO partner host countries. Cruise missiles on surface ships and on subs with nuclear-capable cruise missiles, and more importantly, SLBMs, sub-launched ballistic missiles. Airfields in Poland can't move or hide. They can be easily targeted by Russian decides. I think you meant if Russia decides on making a first strike. Nuclear-laden aircraft are actually more survivable and thus effective the further they are from Russia, but that's not an issue. One moment. Apart from the U.S. bomber wings, ICBMs, and deployed nuclear-capable aircraft in NATO countries, such as in Turkey, for many decades now, it's the SLBMs alone that pose the greatest threat. These subs can park just outside of the 20-mile international waters threshold, much closer than any potential air bases in Poland. SLBMs can also be launched in a fraction of the time it takes to get a nuclear aircraft off the ground. The worst part is that these subs are extremely difficult to detect as they are built for this specific purpose. I mean, none of this explains why they would put them there then. I mean, they're not putting them there because they just threw darts at a map, you know? They're putting them there because it's a good strategic location. So I don't think that it's completely useless. And that means that they have a use and it's not just some arbitrary thing, right? Humans are rational actors for the most part, especially when it's this many lives and this much money on the line. People are going to give enough of a shit that they only deploy them where they would be useful. So why are they deploying them there if they're not useful? SLBM forces, in fact, patrol many hundreds of miles from their targets. Getting too close to a nation's coastline puts them at risk of being tracked by hostile surface ships, anti-submarine warfare aircraft, and attack-class submarines. SLBM forces can range out as far as 4,600 miles from their targets, and they are far more of a potent threat than any nuclear assets in Poland would be. So why does Poland want U.S. nuclear weapons within its borders? One moment. When Putin invaded Ukraine with over 200,000 soldiers, thousands of tanks, many thousands of other armored vehicle types, launched thousands of conventional ballistic missiles and the like, he showed his neighbors something they never expected to see in this age. Any former Soviet country was fair game for Putin's ambitions. His plan was to overwhelm Ukraine, and it did for a time, but it was turned on its head over the last 8 months. Maybe. Maybe. If you believe the mainstream media narrative, I don't. Putin's neighbors, such as Sweden and Finland, sought membership with NATO, sending Russia the message that they would not be standing alone, but within an alliance. Finland grew up in the shadow of Russia and fought many times over its borders. They are a far more difficult target than Ukraine has been, but they wanted the added assurance of being part of the NATO defensive bloc. Yet Poland, already a NATO partner, wanted to send Mr. Putin a message in different fashion. Maybe. Again, maybe. I'm gonna address some chat here for just a second. Putin's wife is from Switzerland, BTW. Yeah, that's from Jonathan. Russia is in a population decline. They're paying citizens to have children. Yeah. Louis says, the survivors of the nuclear war call the war Judgment Day. They lived to only fight a new war, the war against the machine. Yeah. Eek says, that movie series did not consider EMPs. There will be no machines that are networked. Yes, that's true. Didn't think about it. Well, or they'll just be in shielded bunkers. You don't need nukes going off right then and there with all the robots out. And the robots are connected to Skynet, which is probably also an Iron Dome. An EMP needs to go off at the right location to disable your stuff. It's not just going to go off and then everything dies. So, Skynet probably had an Iron Dome. That could be my explanation for it. And also I'm going to check my Discord real quick before I finish this comment. I don't think there are any comments here about the video, so I'll be continuing the stream here. Yeah, why wouldn't robots have an Iron Dome? These are supposed to be the most intelligent AI, mimicking the best warfare tactics of humans. So humans have Iron Domes. They've had them for decades. Why wouldn't super advanced Skynet bullshit have it? It makes no sense to me. I think it would. I think Skynet would have an Iron Dome. If you followed any of the Russian propaganda machine in Moscow, Poland has been remarked upon as a country that Russia and Belarus may need to attack at some point. Propaganda in Russia is absolutely controlled by the state. I mean, so is propaganda here. That's not really a point. So its suggestions or threats there are there by intent. By stationing U.S. nuclear weapons with our advanced U.S. aircraft in Poland, it sends a very loud and clear message to Moscow that Poland's internationally recognized borders are sacrosanct. This isn't necessarily to defend against conventional air and missile strikes against Polish military targets, but if Russia brings in ground forces or attacks the civilian population and infrastructure, the threat increases for their use. I mean, so what? Mutually assured destruction means it's probably not going to happen even if that does happen. Who fucking cares, yo? Western conventional forces are many magnitudes of force greater than the handing over of some specific pieces of equipment and munitions to Ukraine. Retired General Petraeus, you mean betray us? Guy's a war hawk. Why are you bringing him up anyway? Painted a very realistic picture of NATO's conventional capability. I mean, I bet he did. He's been one of the people helping the gold platers in the military-industrial complex forever. Based on his former postings alone, he opined that all Russian and pro-Russian ground forces in Ukraine would be eliminated over a very brief period of time, likely 30 to 60 days. Air superiority would be immediately established 15 to 30 days for current Russian air power in Ukrainian theater. Launching sites for drones. When did he say that, though? Because it hasn't happened yet, and they're redoubling. They're getting back there. Launching, and this is all just based on what the news is telling us, you know? Like, if this is just one big stage show, then that would also be bullshit. Launching sites for drones and missile attacks from within Russia's borders would be directly engaged and destroyed. Aircraft would be engaged over the horizon by 4th and 5th generation fighter aircraft along with air defense systems on the ground. Russia's Black Sea fleet would be destroyed within days to weeks of NATO's involvement. The only vessels survived. Then why didn't they do this already? It seems to me that this might just be a bunch of, like, you know, well, if you say you're God, I'm God times infinity. That's what it seems like. The only vessels surviving these strikes would be those that made it to Russian territorial waters, declaring their complete departure from the war. Russian subs would likewise need to depart the Ukrainian theater or would be fair game for NATO anti-submarine capabilities and NATO attack subs. NATO has trained and equipped itself over the last 70 years for this job, while previous military engagements in Afghanistan and Iraq were against it. No, they weren't! What? Ah, man. Afghanistan was literally because of the Soviet-Afghan war, and Iraq was a direct result of funding the insurgents and mujahideen through the Operation Cyclone programs and a long series of other shit. What? This same enemy. It's still Russia bad. I don't think you know what you're talking about. I mean, like, you're clearly expressing some information here, but, like, it seems like you're very one-sided about this. So, as you can see, nuclear weapons in Poland are for their deterrent value against a ground invasion of its territory. In sum, Mr. Putin has inadvertently created a newly postured NATO alliance. He's helped create 2 new member states and an additional NATO neighbor able to defend its territory should Russia choose to invade. Look, I'll give you a thumb because that did take a lot of effort, but I'm not giving you a heart for that. Because that just seems like a whole lot of propaganda and military-industrial complex splaining. Yo, I don't think that's real at all. I think that there's a lot of stuff in there that requires a lot of assumptions and implications rather than actual facts on the ground. That's my take. You know, take it or leave it. And also the U.S. made the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and all these other sorts of, like, little things. So, no, I disagree. That's my stance. But that's the last comment. Eek says, I used to work in the IC. That is utter bullshit. Yeah, the West is still flying cracked wing F-16s. Yeah, that were funded hugely by... yeah, that were funded hugely by the West. And their military-industrial complex saying, it doesn't matter if they don't work. And F-18s, oh god. So, anyway... Louis says nuclear war is the final solution for the entire human beast. Eek says, and ISIS. Yeah. Yeah. What are those Toyotas doing in the Middle East that ISIS loves so much? Well, hey, they're doing it there because those were surplus. And because this is how the U.S. has been operating in that region. They fund a vassal state or a puppet sort of like group or agency. And then when that group or agency becomes feral, they say, we need to go put down our dog. That's it. They create their enemies and then they have enemies. They form a massive like product dependency and food dependency on Russia and like an oil dependency as well. And then they say, wow, Russia's sure got a lot of money and weapons. I wonder how that happened. Let's fight Russia again. For a fucking century. Anyway. Eek says, those Toyotas magically appeared. No one bought them. Yeah, just... really like Jimmy Carter and the Clintons and Bushes. Those people were like... seriously, like secretly Timmy from the Fairly Odd Parents, and they just said, I want that, and the Fairly Odd Parents were like, but that'll start a bunch of wars, and he's like, I don't care, and then they did it. They just gave these terrorists all this shit. They just poofed out of nowhere. Not that they were hyper funding BAE, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, all these fucking military industrialists. Not that was the case. They just now we have weapons in the Middle East. And the Iran-Contra affair and Fast and Furious and Pinochet and, basically just communism, Russia. Let's have fascism globally because of that. Louis says, look how bad G.I. Joe went after Cobra. I agree. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to check my Discord for some further comments. It's funny how people, Better Than You says, it's funny how people say that we don't need private gun ownership in America because of the kinds of arms a civilian would bear can't prove effective against an insurgency, but at the same time, we can't even secure Syria from a few Kalashnikovs and a Toyota. Yep. Yeah. It's funny how that works, isn't it? Anyway. Bay of Pigs, Louis says, yeah. Eek says they left a tooth under their pillow and they got a white Toyota with a weapon system welded to the bed. Ain't that some rugged shit? Hilarious. Anyway, this is starting to wrap. This is starting to come to a close. So, if y'all are interested in supporting me, there are many ways to do that in the description. I need fucking $500 for rent and phone bill before the end of the week, and you're free to support that if you want. Oh, looks like that one got the long answer got left an hour ago. So that was a live reading of a comment. So Christian DH, if you were in the stream watching that, then hello, welcome to my insane channel. But yeah, that's what I need. I need that by Friday. So anybody who wants to throw anything can feel free, and also subscribe to my email newsletter. And if there's anything else you want to discuss before I book, then feel free to put that in the chat, because I'll go for 16 more minutes. Because it's that'll put us at an even 2 hours. Honestly, I'm glad, because I was scant on content this week. I didn't as much as I wanted to. And I'll probably be putting out another video later today because of that. But basically, the general thing is that how do I find a liberty-loving lady? I would recommend actually just going on these social networks and interacting with people, because whoever's gonna find you is gonna be interested in you for who you are, if that's the case. Unless they're a Fed, but that Feds could be on fucking dating sites too. I would recommend just trying to interact with people on social media more, so that you can meet somebody who meets your standards, your prerequisites and shit, as closely as possible, and doesn't mind your sort of extreme ideas. That's sort of my plan. And then when I'm in the market, when I actually have a stable income and shit, I can, reliably have somebody that's like not gonna book because I said something extremist, because I already said the extremist shit that I plan to say to her directly. So your extreme ideas. Well, I mean, I'm an extremist. If people don't like that I'm a extremist conspiracy theorist, then I don't like them. It makes a lot of stuff easier. Eek says, I'm normal, everyone else is nuts. I mean, yeah, but okay. We're still on the extreme. I am extreme bottom in the political compass. I am extreme anti-government. I'm an extremist and I'm fucking proud of it. Anybody who doesn't like that can eat my ass. Like, these people are extremely anti all of us, so they shouldn't be surprised that there are some extremists who hate them. Fuck these pieces of shit. Anyway, that's my answer, is just to be aggressively you. And, like, whichever woman finds you will know who you are already. That's my advice. He says, makes my goal even more difficult. Guess I'll stay single. Maybe. Get a cabin in the woods like Jonathan. Maybe, but also, a lot of chicks dig a cabin in the woods. So if you had a cabin in the woods and you posted about it, there's every likelihood that you would find somebody based on that alone. This guy's got stability in a serene environment out in the middle of nowhere. We could just go, live there and make homeschooled kids. She'd be down, whoever she is. There are chicks out there looking for somebody who's already self-sustaining and looking for that. I would recommend just keeping it going. Keep on keeping on. And like me, I'm not even in the market right now at all. Like, I'm in the guess I'll stay single camp because, I'm not gonna add another human to the equation while I'm also sort of destitute. So that's my thing. And you're helping with that already, so thank you. Eek says people like us definitely need to be making babies. Yeah, like the population thing is like 2.5 people, like normie people, to every one of us, proverbially. And so if we produce 3 of them, we've already counterbalanced it. And if we produce 5, then we're 2 normies in one. We're better than 2 normies in terms of our ability to contribute to that sort of effort. Jonathan says, do you for you, not for some chick. I'm full monk mode right now. Respectable. Yeah, for me, I'm trying to do as much activism as possible. Get this out in front of as many people as possible. That's my current goal. Alright. Well, looks like there's nothing more in chat. Nothing more in Discord. I'm going to post some links here in the chat. And if y'all want to use them, you're free to. It's not mandatory. It's not mandatory. But these are available. Oh, shit, it's not doing that right. Hold on just a second. I'm going to delete this one. Remove. And then this one. So those will be ways that you can support this if you want. And that'll be there. And of course, the people in the server will be able to see my content on a more regular basis because they'll get a notification whenever I post. So there's going to be that too. So there's going to be a lot of content. We're posting a new podcast episode tomorrow. We're posting more content over the week. I'm going to start writing articles again. I'm going to try to submit one to the Center for Stateless Society about why Biden is fascist, because they do really short submissions compared to what I normally do. And if I could get one in there about that, I think it'd be a good counterbalance to their Trump content. So that's going to be one of my goals. I'm also going to write a lot of newsletters this week. I'm going to do a lot of videos. There's going to be another stream, but the next one will be on Saturday at around the same time. So Saturday at around 7 p.m. Eastern. So that's 4 p.m. Pacific. So if y'all want to show up for that, make sure you subscribe to this, because this is going to be there. So. Anyway. With that, oh, did I get some on Twitter? Oh, somebody added me to a spam group again. That's been happening a lot lately. I normally just ignore those. Anyway. Thank you to anyone who does decide to support. Thank you to people who actually share this content and put me out in front of people. Y'all keep this machine running. And, yeah. With all that being said,
Smash the fucking state.